Is the T8 XC90 worth the hype? We're showcasing the 2025.5 Volvo XC90 T8 all-wheel drive Ultra in crystal white over charcoal ventilated Nappa leather. Updates, we're getting them for the front fascia, the light, the rear bumper, the wheels, updated tech, 32 miles all-electric range. But is all this going to be enough to make it worth the hype? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons to see if it is worth the hype for 2025.5. So just be cautious, because if you get a 25 variant, you're not going to get this upgraded grille that's a more modern design that flows into the reworked Thor LED headlights, daytime runnings. It's more of a matrix design. And if you go into the EX90, which is a full electric variant, it's not going to be the same vehicle as this. They even changed the lighting there to make it more sophisticated. So I am liking what Volvo is doing overall. Add the air suspension and you could get nearly 10 inches of clearance, because it will adapt by 1.4 inches more depending on the driving modes, and go as low as about 8.4 inches of clearance. Front parking sensors with the 360-degree reverse camera, because this is the Ultra trim. Some pros to this: besides the 32 miles, you're getting 4-cylinder turbocharged direct injection engine with an electric motor. That's going to produce 312 horsepower, and 143 horsepower is added with the electric motor, giving us a combined of 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. That is definitely worth the hype, giving us a 0 to 60 at 5 seconds, MPGEs combined at 58. So when you're thinking Volvo doesn't have performance, it's just safety, no, they tick the box to the next level when you go into the T8. But if you're not using the PHEV system, you're getting 27 MPGs with a charging time around 5 hours on a level 2 or a 240 volt. 21-inch, 5 multi-spoke black diamond cut wheels with a near 50-50 weight distribution, and we do not have the adaptive suspension ticked on this one, but we have a review with it so you can see the difference between the two vehicles with the suspension layout. The chrome is going to surround the lower skirt. Integrated LED turn signals on the side view mirror, their power folding heating, and you'll have the puddle lights that's going to be on the door handle. So it makes it easier to see the vehicle at nighttime, and the styling to it is going to be more luxurious, but it keeps the Scandinavian luxury twist with the flared out fenders, so you know it's a performance variant. Now if you go underneath this trim, you're talking a 0 to 60 is well over a second slower than this. Towing capabilities at 5,000 pounds across all of the XC90s, and when you option the crossbars for these roof rails, 220 pounds you could fit on top. But is it worth the hype? For me, things that tick the box: the luxury, the near 50-50 weight distribution, the performance. You're getting all that ticked here. So I'm thinking it's worth the hype, but let me know your thoughts on that. LED taillights with the LED light bar on the lower roof spoiler. The lower keeps it more simplified because it's gonna be a more minimalistic look. That's what the Scandinavians are going after. Putting it in content against competition, this is not going to be the best in class with all electric range. That's going to be going to Mercedes, BMW, then Audi, then this. So it will be actually the least in class. But as for dynamically speaking, this is one of the best in class. It sits right on par with BMW, and a 0 to 60 at 5 seconds. Who would have thought you would get that with a Volvo? Plus, it keeps all the safety that us Volvo lovers are used to, like the collision avoidance that features a low and high speed collision mitigation, and it detects vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, as well as large animals. Oncoming mitigation by braking, driver alert control, the whiplash protection system that's for the front seats, Pro Assist, that's your driving assistance system with adaptive cruise control, lane keeping aid, forward collision warning, post-impact braking, and automatic unlock after collision. So even though it's not fully electrified, the PHEV keeps all the safety essence for a day in and day out, and it adds all the attributes to make it worth the hype. Power trunk release going into 13.2 cubic feet of storage. Bag holders on both sides that could hold 5 kg. You get a 12 volt. Little bottle holder here, a little cubby, and underneath the floor you have some storage capabilities. To split fold the rear bench, 50-50 split. It's going to max cargo to 34.5 cubic feet with them down. But unfortunately you have to go into the back to fold down the middle row. Pull the lever, and it's going to fold down at a 40-20-40 split. That's going to maximize the cargo capacity to 85.7 cubic feet of storage. The key fob to the reworked XC90 T8. 16-way power seat adjustment, heated ventilated front seats. You can get massage seats. You get the contrast stitch. It is perforated Napa leather, memory for the driver and passenger because this is the ultra trim. Harman Kardon, you're getting 14 speakers found through the interior of the cabin. That gives you 600 watts. It's a driver-focused setup. This whole dashboard has been redesigned with 11.2-inch touch screen. The wood inlays have increased because they were a little bit thinner here, so this was a little bit bigger. This dash has been retailored, and you still have plenty of leg space carved out. There isn't any pass-through. With my favorite twist, the crystal knob. Let's fire it up. Going into this infotainment screen here, you'll have wireless Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Google Maps, Google Assist, Google Play. Click into this little car icon here, and this is going to be set up for your driving aid. You can also lower the headrest for the second row. That's just something Volvo always does. The settings, you can go to your driving mode, select right here to change everything. So we have it on hybrid, you can put it on pure, all-wheel drive. You can change all the configuration right here. So it is pretty intuitive, but you will have to use everything through here. You do have some physical buttons for the sound system, although for the dual climate control setting for the front and the 2 climate control for the rear, you'll have to do everything right into here, but you can see it's actually not that difficult. Put it into reverse, and this is also a lot nicer because if you remember, for 2025 and under, you'd have to click to get the 360-degree reverse camera. It doesn't cover up the whole screen, so that's always a con to me, but the trajectory does expand, and you have different camera layouts here too, which makes it a little bit more easy, and you can also do that for the front configuration, and then you'll just have basically the sensors here on the rear. Wireless charging pad, this center here has been cleaned up, so I appreciate that because it's more usable. They keep the wood inlays, but before this would roll out all the way here and you just had kind of like a little storage for mints or some change. Now everything's functional because you can actually put your phone here if you have a smaller phone like me, or the key fob. You still turn the dial to put it into gear. This is still going to be sporty, but look, you actually have a little bit deeper storage capacity, USB 12 volt, leg space is more than enough for the front occupants, leather wrap steering wheel, multi-function, and the gauge cluster can go through different content. So you have your navigation and you have your comm mode. It's basically all that you need with the heads-up display, auto-dimming rear view mirror with the home link, LED interior lights. You just tap it like this, and the same thing for the panel. You just slide your finger across it and it'll electronically move all the way to the second row. Headroom, I mean, it's definitely worth the hype. You can see I'm excited about this 2025.5 dashboard and door panel configuring together, but things that I'm not excited about is this would normally be a little bit more soft, and it's not as soft as this area here. You get the wood inlays that also brush into the dashboard with the satin aluminum or more of that chrome look. So it does make it look a little bit more luxurious. You have to push this button here to deploy the glove box. And you got your one touch up and down for all the windows. It's soft to touch where it needs to be with a long storage pocket, and it keeps a little pocket hidden for the driver. No soft closed doors. The back door opens up for 3 more to fit. You can have this as a configuration as a 6 or 7 seater. We have the 7-seater, manual sunshades, door panel will get the soft materials, and you get the wood inlays, contrast stitch with about 2 cup or beverage holders. You have a small armrest with cup holders here. You lift this up and you'll have your booster seat for those youngsters. I like this because it makes it easier for owners that have kids. You don't have to buy those booster seats. Dual climate control settings in the rear, heated rear seats, air vents, 2 USB-C ports, and you'll have a storage net behind both of the front seats with another air vent on the side. Leg space is going to be sufficient. You sit up a little bit higher, but headroom is still optimal, and you can adjust this forward. So it makes it a little bit more tight for somebody like me, but it gives a lot more space for somebody like me in the back. And you can also recline these seats so you can enjoy a longer journey. Sliding into the center, the floor is not completely flat. and I would not recommend you try to put your feet there. You're already sitting upwards enough. The center seat is not going to be the most comfortable. You will be sharing some leg space. Feet, butt, and shoulder space isn't really that bad, but you are blocking the center command. Headroom, it's still good even though I sit higher up right in the center. For the third row, pull this lever and slide it forward. You're gonna have room for two more to sit back here with a little storage in between it. You have a cup holder on both sides with another storage box, air vents on the side, and you got the speakers right in front of you. Let's see how it looks folding this back. It's gonna be cramped. It's gonna be really tight. And even sharing space, I mean, realistically, I'm gonna be sharing some feet space. It's really cramped back here, and you sit even higher in the back seat opposed to sitting in the center of the second row. 5 seconds 0 to 60 on an XC90. That is crazy. And you're getting 32 all-electric miles with 455 horsepower. Hell, 523 pound-feet of torque. Do I sound excited? I am, because it's a near 50-50 weight distribution. We do not have the air suspension. You can add that to it and it'll make it feel a lot more smooth. Volvos are already quiet. The Scandinavians keep it luxurious. Is it worth the hype? This is what we're gonna find in this drive. When we're putting those numbers in perspective against BMW, this is actually right on par with them. It's a very fast vehicle, and most people don't even consider that when they're thinking about shopping around. Because me personally, I own a Infiniti QX60 Autograph. It's around $70,000, and now they have a 2.0 liter VC turbocharged engine, which is a lot less power than this. Hell, this is nearly double the horsepower and torque to that vehicle. Now, you can tow more there, but when you're looking about all-around capabilities with luxury and performance, I just feel Volvo steps it up a notch. Going against Lexus, it's the same thing. Lexus has a lot of plastic in the interior. The only con that I have going into this is how this 11.2-inch screen looks like it's an aftermarket thought. It seems to me like the 9 inches behind here, and they just glued this on top. But I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. And that's going to take me into some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is how soft the interior is, how quiet the interior is. You have plenty of cargo capacity, and you've got 32 full electric range miles, so you don't ever have to worry about filling this vehicle up as long as you can charge it for 5 hours somewhere, which typically when you go to work, you're going to be working 8 to 10 hours. So there you go. Charge it at work, you come home and you got 32 miles either way you go. That is awesome. Now, if you don't use the PHEV system, you're still getting more MPGs than you would on an XC90 B6. So just something to take in consideration there, because your price can hover to around the T8, which, like I said, was normally badged as the Recharge. Standard all-wheel drive, and that goes across the board for all XC90s. Braking is good, safety is good. Just so quiet in the interior. The drive is still smooth. It is a lot more smooth when you go for the air suspension, and it's around a $2,000 upgrade. I would consider doing it personally if I'm thinking to keep the car long term, and it doesn't really change the dynamics to the vehicle, so it doesn't have that boaty feel people are typically concerned about when they go to a air suspension layout. But with these upgraded wheels, I mean, 21-inch, and you could go up to a 22-inch, you don't really feel that much of the imperfections. And if you put it into the hybrid or the pure mode, you don't hear the engine at all. On some cons, you can feel the vibration of the engine still come into the cabin. I wish they would have cleaned that up, because the auto start system is awesome the way it's set up here. You don't feel the engine cut on and off, but then when you're sitting at a red light with the engine on, you can actually feel those vibrations. So just a few things they need to touch up there, maybe adding a little bit more soft materials. They do a good job not adding plastic materials everywhere, so I appreciate that. Give standard amenities when I'm at $82,000, like massage seats. I don't want to have to option things. I just want everything thrown in at one package, because at this point, it becomes not worth the hype, because now it's going to escalate to about $85,000, $86,000, which entertains a lot of vehicles in this same category. But the pro here is it's not so long of a vehicle, but then the con to that, the third row is very unusable. That's another reason why I went to the QX60, because you can actually use the third row, and when you go autograph, you have the 6-seat configuration, so captain seat, which you can do captain seats here, but the difference is the back seat isn't a complete bench. It's actually 2 little seats, which I feel they would be better to do like the EX90 does and actually give that bench. That way you have more butt room. But with this much horsepower, we got to see what we got. A crazy amount of power. Hell, the workers that was looking at the vehicle was like, what the hell, a Volvo doing that? And that's what is just so intriguing about this trim. Going into the T8, you go even more so with the luxury, with the quality, with the performance. It literally ticks the box to everything that I would want. Just the third row, if they would carve out some more space and maybe give us a little bit more cargo capacity, cut the front overhang a little bit and give more interior space. That would really be the only way you could fix that. Towing capabilities at 5,000 pounds, it's more than enough for a day in and day out use. So it's literally an all-round package, and yet kind of a sleeper. As for brakes, this is a PHEV, so it's heavier. I can literally go through the windscreen, which is dual pane, as well as the side view or the side windows, because we're in the Ultra. Turn radius is about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. The more uplifting thing, put it into hybrid, not hearing anything. And even though this is a 4-cylinder, it actually doesn't sound that bad. I know in the comments people may say things like, dude, it's a 4-cylinder, it doesn't sound like a V6. It actually does have a little bit of bass to it. Usually it's gonna sound like a vacuum, or it'll sound like a lawnmower, and you don't have that here. Plus you have the extra sound deadening because we're in the Ultra trim. So is it worth the hype? For me it is, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check this next video out right here. And I'd like to thank Crown Volvo Cars for giving us this 2025.5 Volvo XC90 T8 Ultra for our car review.